Cage Minds MMA show, Mika Frankl. Today we welcome in Courtney Cast Iron Casey, who is the Tuff-N-Uff Coalition of Combat Flyweight Amateur Champion, and now she's going to be making her pro debut June 14th, XFC 24 collision course against Kelley Warren, who's 3-4 as a pro. So Courtney, thank you for the time, and just off the bat, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Great, lovely day. Talking about fights can't get any better. We got your pro debut coming up. How exciting is that, and why is now the right time for that pro debut?
It's extremely exciting. I have a lot of people working with me now, so my camp's a little bit bigger than it normally is. I'm really excited. I brought in a few more coaches to help me out. I'll go over at Teton and Teton Gym, and then also Brandon Tierney. He's out of Power MMA. I worked with him in the past, and I'm very excited to have him working with me as well. And just the right time. It's the right time for me to step in into a bigger show and, step up the competition level and hopefully make a good name for myself in the XFC. So I'm very excited and I'm very happy, and they gave me Kelley Warren as my first opponent, so I'm excited about that. And she has a lot to offer. She's fought a ton of very, very tough girls, Carol Rosa, Jessica I. So I'm looking very forward to that fight.
Sizing her up, what do you think about that? She's been in there, like you said, with some really tough girls. How do you think this fight's going to play out?
In my favor. Really, I just want to go out and put on a good show, make a good name for myself. It is my pro debut. So, she's 3-4, so she has a little bit more time as a pro than me. But I feel that my strengths will definitely play a role in the fight, and hopefully I'll be able to take advantage of her weaknesses that I have seen, and hopefully be able to come up with a victory. And but mainly just be able to put on a good show. It's gonna be a tough fight, and I'm excited that XFC has brought us onto the main card as women, so it's definitely gonna be exciting.
Well, for those of us who haven't seen you fight but could check you out on YouTube, what should they be expecting from your fighting style of your strengths?
Just a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai, and definitely a high-paced jiu-jitsu game.
Excited to see that. So, how much of a camp are you having leading up to this pro debut, and is it that much of a bigger camp than when you were getting ready for one of your amateur fights?
Absolutely, it's much bigger. I had about 45 days to prepare for this fight, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be the longest camp by far that I've ever had. Normally have probably about 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks was the most that I've ever had to get ready for a camp. So it's definitely a little more taxing on my body, but I have a lot of good coaches around me and a good nutritionist and stuff, so they're making sure everything is going to be perfect come fight night.
Your first amateur fight was back in 2010. What kind of fighter do you feel you are today from that first time you stepped in the cage?
I feel like I've grown a lot as far as being more well-rounded. I cleaned up a lot of holes that I had. Definitely focused a lot on my wrestling over at Southwest MMA with Tom Marquise. So I just feel like I bring a little bit more of a pace now, and I'm not afraid to stand, and I'm not afraid to go to the ground. So I'm definitely a little bit more well-rounded than I was in that first fight for sure.
In that amateur competition, a 5-fight win streak, what do you got to do to translate that momentum over towards the pros now?
Just keep an open mind and just know that I can only do so much preparing for the fight, and not to get overwhelmed with everything else as to trying to pick apart her game. I really got to focus on bringing my game in executing my game plan to the T is pretty much what I need to do. As long as I do that, I know I'll definitely come out with a win. I have a different style than most people, so as long as I'm able to continue my game plan and not fall into her game plan, I'll definitely be happy with the outcome.
How much of a game plan kind of fighter are you?
I'm pretty good. I stick to what I train day in and day out, to the point where it's really muscle memory, where I have no other way than to follow the game plan. I get drilled in every single day. You know, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it, and we break it down from there. After that, it's just muscle memory. I do it so much that I do it in my sleep. I dream about it. So, you know, when it comes time for the fight, it just comes natural. And that's what I'm happy about, where I don't have to stress about it, where I'm not walking the cage and double guessing myself or trying to figure it out on the fly. It just comes naturally, and I have great cornermen that stick to game plan, very simple directions, and it makes things a lot easier that way.
So much muscle memory that you're doing it in your sleep. So how many in your sleep arm bars do you have? Because the last 3 wins have came via the arm bar.
Not many, actually. I don't ever dream about submitting people, which is really weird. I never dream about submitting people. I really don't get too caught up on making it an armbar thing. I don't know. Everyone's like, do you always try to go for an armbar? And it's not something I always go for. Like, it just comes, again, I've done it so many times that it just happens. I can see them pretty much from a mile away coming. Like, I'm like, oh, and here it is, and I'm going to take it. So it's just, again, it's just something that happens. I definitely don't search for it. I definitely wasn't searching for an armbar against Rachel Cummins the second time, and it just happened. So, I mean, if an armbar comes on, you know, July 14th, then it happens. But, June 14th, then it happens. But if not, then, you know, hopefully I win in another way.
Okay, on that, let's get to know you a little bit better. We know the nickname is Cast Iron. Can we get a little feedback on how that came to be?
I was training back in El Paso, and I was the only girl in the gym, of course, and a lot of the guys were a lot bigger than me. 155ers, 170s, and above, so a lot of big guys, and I would get in there and I would spar with them, and we do, you know, Shark Tank and round robins like that, and every time I would just get beat up, and the next round comes, another person beat me up, next round, everyone's beating me up, and I just kept standing there, taking my beatings, and one of the heavier guys was like, you know, I had a little cast iron skill. We just started in the fire, and you just come out like it was no big deal. So after that, it kind of gets stuck.
Awesome. And then combat sports. We had talked prior to the interview, this isn't your first run-in with combat sports. Tell us about that. How old were you when you first started in combat sports?
I would say I was about 7 or 8. My parents got a divorce, and my mom just had to put me in something to keep me active and out of trouble. I always loved Kung Fu movies. She enrolled me in Taekwondo, and then I did karate as well. And when I think it was in about 4th or 5th grade, I had to make a choice between karate and soccer. And at the time, you know, everyone wanted to be in the World Cup or going to Olympics and playing on those giant fields with the grass that was as green can be. So I chose that route, and I also knew I could get a scholarship playing soccer if I tried really hard. And, you know, I was lucky enough to be able to go to college and get a full ride scholarship to play soccer, and played semi-pro. And then, unfortunately, I suffered a pretty bad injury my senior year, and I had to take some time off. And in between that time, I was asked to go to the gym by a kid in my class, who is now my fiance, James Cusack. So I definitely give him a lot of credit for getting me back into it. But he took me to a jiu-jitsu studio where he was coaching at, and it kind of just started all from there all over again, and I fell in love with it again.
two things off of that. One, soccer player, how good is your kicking arsenal? And the second would be, was there a romance before it, or did the grappling tournament breed the romance?
My kicking arsenal is good from what I've heard. I don't think it's anything crazy, but a lot of people say that my kicks are very different just because of the soccer and how my hips move, so it's a little bit different. And I would say there's a little bit more romance before the grappling.
Just the way you made it sound, some guy, oh, now he's my fiance. Just had to ask. Well, okay.
Yeah, it really, he was in my class, and he said, hey, you want to go to the gym with me? And actually, he didn't ask. He said, you're going to the gym with me tonight. And I said, okay. And I was thinking I was going to go lift at, the school's gym, but instead he took me to go grapple, and then that was that.
You were that excited from the experience the first time, or did it take some warming up to you?
No, from the first time, just because, you think you're in shape, I literally just finished my season, my soccer season, so I was in the best shape I could be in, and then I go to this grappling studio with all these people, and I'm like, alright, this is gonna be easy, and it was hard. And I like to be good at things, so I was like, alright, I gotta come back and try this again. And I picked up on it pretty quick, and funny enough, my first submission that I ever did was like 2 weeks. I think the second week I was there, I finished one of the guys that had been there for a couple months with an armbar. And then that's when James said, do you want to do the tournament, in a couple months? And I said, sure. So that's how it started. It started with just local grappling tournaments and then just grew from there.
So you said you were surprised with, you thought you were in shape. Throughout this path, what else, has there been any other surprises that you found?
Just that if you train with a lot of guys, getting punched in the face by girls isn't that bad, but at the same time, girls have funky ligaments and they can bend differently than guys, so when you can submit a guy with a Kimura, and then you don't try to submit a girl with Kimura, it's not the same. Like, you gotta try a lot harder, so it's a little bit different. Like, people as you get better in jiu-jitsu, your flexibility gets better, so it's really tough to figure someone out on the fly, but I think it's challenging. It's like a little mental chess game for yourself, so I enjoy it. So it's definitely fun.
How do you think that does work? There's the size and the strength of a male partner, so you get used to that weight on top of you, but then again, the different positions of the women with their flexibility, because as we've seen like in some of the Invicta fights, women can bend in ways to get out of submissions that you're like, I've never seen that in a male fight.
Yeah, it's just the dexterity. I don't know what it is. We're naturally built different, so I know it's a lot easier because guys have mainly have bigger shoulders than women, so their flexibility on their shoulders are a lot different, their flexibility on their hips are a lot different. So I just think that how just the dynamics of a woman's body is a lot different than a man. So, if you don't have those women training partners, you will come in, when you come into a fight, you're like, wow, this girl is flexible. Every now and then you do get those very, very flexible guys at the gym, but it's very rare. So, it is nice every now and then to be able to train with a girl, just for the fact that, some of your positions won't work on them because you can't tap them with certain things. So, it is hard.
You've got the Division I college soccer background, that's a big stage, 2 titles in the amateurs. What do you think the emotions are going to be like June 14th as you're leading in your pro debut and you're going to be on a main card televised?
Like a normal fight, to me it's my job now, and I'm just going to continue to do it and have fun doing it, and I don't get stressed out with the big lights and the big stages. I've played soccer in Mexico against the Mexican national team. You can't get a bigger stage and a more hostile crowd than that. So, I mean, if I can handle that, I'm pretty sure, you know, walking in the cage isn't going to be too bad. I guarantee you they're not going to be throwing batteries at me, so that's always going to be a bonus. But emotions are going to be running. As long as I can get them under control before I sit on the stage, I think it's going to be fine. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hear the venue is in Spain over there in Tampa, so I'm definitely excited.
Okay, wait, so is soccer more dangerous than MMA, you just said?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, you get batteries thrown at you, you get things, you get yelled at, and they get in your face. It's pretty intense. I've had more injuries with soccer than I've had in MMA, hands down. Soccer's pretty intense.
Wow. So, I remember there was an international incident, it was just a couple weeks ago, where there was a guy biting another guy. Have you ever had another girl try to bite you while going for the ball?
I haven't got bit before. I've had my arm yanked as like mid-stride when I'm running, and just yanked my arm and pulled me down. I've had been, taken down, and then trying to get up, and the girl kicked me in the face. I've been kicked in the stomach. Been punched a lot. Been kicked in the back, like someone's like basically kicked my back and pushed on. It's bad. I mean, girls get feisty. Guys get dirty too, and like it's bad when you're running full speed at each other and someone has cleats on.
Never knew that soccer's next logical transition would be move on to MMA. Learn something every day. Any last thoughts that you wanted to share with us on the upcoming fight?
No, just make sure you guys tune in to XFC on June 14th and support, the XFC. We got a lot of great fighters, and I'm definitely excited to be part of the women's division and looking forward to it growing. I'm just really excited.
Want to shout out to sponsors, training partners, the people that have helped you?
Yep, for sure. Kimura Wear, Momentum Eyewear, Training Mask, Ivory Fury. All my local sponsors, Papworth Heating and Cooling, showing life, they take great care of me. Accident Chiropractic, Dr. Seth over there always keeps me in mind. Of course, Lockdown Clothing, Lucky over there, designs my fight t-shirts and also is my boss. So definitely got to give a shout out to him. Sanchez DJJ, Teton Muay Thai, Southwest MMA and Freak Animal Fitness, and of course my fiance James Kizak, and the new addition to my fight camp, Brandon Tierney. He does awesome. And also my management, Ludo Elite, and also a big shout out to Anthony Burchett, who's going to be fighting in Canada on the main card now. So very excited about that on the main event. So everyone support Anthony Burchett this weekend for MFC.
MFC 37, True Grit.
37.
True Grit, Anthony Burchak now moved up to the main event due to a Chris Barnett eye injury. Everyone check that out.
Like a crazy eye injury too. That's insane.
3 holes in his retina or something horrendously dangerous.
Yeah, how do you get 3 holes in your retina and not know that? That's insane.
I don't know what it's awful. Hopefully that situation gets out and Spalina Rama will get to fight for the MFC title again one day. But the show must go on, and Anthony Burchak now gets the big spotlight, bumped up from the co-main event to the main event. Access TV Friday Night Fights, you guys got to check that out tomorrow night, which is May 10th, and then also June 14th for XFC 24 Collision Course. Again, thank you for the time, Courtney. Have a great day.
Thank you.